Zoho's announced new AI activity extraction from emails. You can now access data offline in the Zoho FSM mobile application, and you can now assign action owners in Zoho Billing and much more. I'm Drew Brockbank, a Zoho consultant and an official Zoho partner, and in this video, we are going to cover the newsworthy announcements made by Zoho over the last week. Alrighty, let's jump into the news here. So as you can see, I've got the announcement pulled up for multiple activity extraction from emails, query suggestions in Ask Zia, and more. So the main thing that we're going to want to take away from this announcement is this new feature of multiple activity support. So whereas previously, if you were inside of Zoho CRM, if you had an incoming email, you'd have this little pop-up for activity suggestions. Now, that usually just, or that previously only had one activity pop up, but now there's multiple activities that pop up. I love this use case for AI because oftentimes we don't want to read through emails, boil it down into action items, and then create those corresponding action item activities inside of Zoho CRM. So what a great way to leverage AI so that we can save time and do the critical things and not worry about things like this. I absolutely love this. So another part of this announcement is Ask Zia. All right, so previously in Ask Zia, you had to go to the Ask Zia chat, and from there, you didn't have this capability where you could add a slash and then be prompted for suggested queries. I love this. This is like AI talks to AI. So it's you hit the slash, and then AI prompts you with suggested queries relevant based on your CRM usage pattern, which is super interesting. And then you can just click quickly on those different suggested queries, and then it will query AI to give you an answer. So it's like almost like when you're using ChatGPT, if you hit slash, it would just give you recommended queries to ask ChatGPT. But instead of ChatGPT, you're using Zia. That's pretty cool. I like that. Assign owner actions in workflows. So this is for Billing, what we talked about for here for multiple activity extraction that's happening in Zoho CRM. In Billing, we have assign owner actions in workflows. So whereas previously when you added a workflow, you could only assign a specific user. Now when you assign an owner, you have the ability to do it based on roles and user lookup fields. So this is a really helpful update inside of Zoho Billing. Now access data offline in Zoho FSM. All right, so we know how FSM goes, right? Field service management, sometimes you don't have the connection that you want. So instead of not being able to access the mobile application at all, now you can actually go into the mobile application offline because the information is cached, and that allows you to view information on the go. So if you want the specifics here, you have the availability for Android and iOS, both the mobile platforms, and then what you're able to do with information based on the platform. So if it's not supported, read only. For some of the applications you can see here, or for Android, you can see there's read only here. For iOS, it's really not supported. For service reports tab, but this is the information that you can access on the go. So we love this. It's very necessary for field service management to be able to access data on the go. Zoho Creator upcoming updates, February 2024. All right, so I really like what they're doing here in Zoho Creator for system integrations. So here Zoho is giving us some context for the issue and how they're trying to go about solving it. But the gist of it is this: whereas previously you had to go set up these integrations in various different places as a super admin for a Zoho Creator application, now Zoho is giving you one place to modify these different integrations. That way, if you ever add like a developer to your application, they can have access to that as well. So this is really helpful. So right here, so when a developer attempts to create a pivot chart provided by analytics, they will get an error message saying that they don't have permission to do it. This is the kind of scenario we aim to address with the new system integrations page. This is the main thing to take away from this announcement: is the new system integrations page will support Zoho Checkout, Zoho Analytics, Zoho Cloud Functions, Zia AI Fields, ZeptoMail, which is great for those Zoho Creator Power users out there. WhatsApp interactive message templates. So this is neat. You can boost your customer engagement with WhatsApp interactive message templates. So instead of just plain text, sending out a text, you can add these buttons and these different call to action buttons inside of a message. So you can see here, when you do a WhatsApp message, you add these um, containers around text, it will include a button inside of the message. So this is really nice if you want to make it more interactive, and essentially instead of leaving it up to guesswork when you're sending out a message and you want to be very directive on what action someone needs to take based on the message you're sending them, you can now do that here. So this is really helpful. Building extensions, number 6. Okay, so the nice thing that Zoho does for us is they will share different use cases and examples of how to use various features within the Zoho platform. So this is for Zoho projects specifically, but if you don't know too much about widgets, widgets essentially allow you to customize the user interface. So whereas most of the work that, let's say, we'll do with Zoho development, typically, especially for me as a Zoho consultant, it's going to take place on the back end, right? Moving data around, creating advanced automations. Oftentimes I do customization as well, but those are activities that are usually best for an administrator to do. And people usually don't like paying a high dollar amount for things that an admin can do for a consultant, right? So the idea here is instead of just accepting that, hey, this is the way that Zoho's interface is baked in, you can change different elements of the front end with a widget. So what that actually looks like is you can see here inside of Zoho projects for related articles. This is custom, right? This is not out of the box, and related articles to a different task are now being presented here in a bulleted list. So this is a very prettied up widget. You have a lot of flexibility on how you can go about presenting information in a widget. I was just giving you an example here that you can actually do that in Zoho projects now, which is really, really helpful. All right, introducing newly enhanced interview kit. Quick view. So whereas previously in Zoho Recruit, you had to chase information for the interview, they've thrown that all into one view so you can get all the critical information for an interview in one on one page. So components of interview kit, interview details, candidate details, interview evaluation. This is really helpful. Getting a consolidated hub as opposed to jumping around to different parts of the Zoho Recruit application is extremely helpful. All right, introducing shift patterns. Another update here for an update here for Workerly. We have shift patterns. So instead of just doing fixed shifts inside of Zoho Recruit, you now have the ability to do flexible. So sometimes when you, and Workerly is an application for essentially temps. So the nice thing here is instead of just saying, hey, it's going to be on a fixed cadence, you can now select flexible, which allows you to not be restrained to a fixed shift schedule. You can customize that based on your needs. All right, so we have introducing user groups, roles, and profiles in Zoho Sign. This is really helpful in that previously we didn't have this advanced customization options for different access to data and then different permissions to do to data what we want to be able to do. So this is really helpful as well. And then I want to call back something I said on LinkedIn. So I posted last week on LinkedIn about knowledge-based authentication. If you don't know much about that, essentially what Zoho announced is that it would ask you different questions when you were signing a document to verify that you are who you say you are. So I was kind of joking around and I said, hey, Zoho just announced the creepiest, most interesting feature. It's called dynamic knowledge-based authentication. Essentially, you can send out a document for signature via Zoho Sign, then through a partnership with Ideology, verify someone's identity based on information only the intended recipient would know. Okay, so it asks you things like your social security number. So I just thought that was kind of like horrifying and funny, but really cool. So joking about it, and the head of marketing for Zoho, I love this, for Zoho Vault and Zoho Sign reached out or commented. And he was super respectful about it. He's like, you're basically crapping on what I did here, but he was so cool. He said, thanks, Drew, for trying the new integration, knowledge-based authentication powered by Ideology, for sharing your honest feedback. And then he listed points on why this was necessary, because I said, why not use OAuth? And I was just kind of throwing that out there. I'm like, isn't there better ways to do this? And he said, number one, this ID verification method is optional, which I did already know. Number two, works only for USA residents with a valid social security number. And then here's the big point is number 3. This is like the big takeaway. Internal Revenue Services, so the IRS for the US, requires KBA for document forms like 8879, 8878. I didn't know that. So that's actually really helpful context. I love that Zoho is reaching out and trying to give more context, sending links to the announcement page, which I went over last week. So just wanted to mention that because I love that he reached out and was basically like, hey, if you want additional information, you can reach out. So cool stuff. What's new in Zoho Billing? All right, so one-time invoices with plans and add-ons. So Zoho subscriptions now, Zoho Billing has some interesting new features for us to explore here. So we can actually, what we can do now is we can go into a one-time invoice and we can add a plan or an add-on right to that invoice, which is really, really helpful. Let's go to invoices and we can add a plan. So that's really interesting and helpful for Zoho Billing's users. Unique customer numbers. Eliminate confusion caused by multiple customers with the same name. Now you can associate unique numbers to your customers, which reduces the risk of errors while managing transactions. It's a helpful update there. We got create subscriptions from quotes. You can now go to the quote, and then you can just create a quote from the subscription. Or create a subscription from the quote, which is great. Apple Pay via Stripe. Oh, I love this. I love that you can use Apple Pay. I'm addicted to Apple Pay. I use it every day for DoorDash. That is how I feed myself. So I really like that that's available now. Great integration. Aging summary and customer statement. All great updates there in Zoho Billing. Okay, so power of automation. Automatically associate the timesheet layout upon project custom field update. So now it gives us a code share here. And if you don't know, Zoho will announce different code shares. I'm not sure why it falls under announcements, but I want to make mention of it to you because it's helpful if you want to be able to take advantage of their different code shares and enhance the functionality of various applications. So this is in Zoho projects. Again, you can automatically associate the timesheet layout upon project custom field update. And here is all the custom code if you want to implement that for Zoho projects. Maximize your document management potential. Okay, they spelled management wrong. I'm gonna call that out. That's totally fine. We're gonna forgive Zoho for this one. I'm a grammar police there because I have Grammarly, but yes, they spelled management wrong. Okay, so discover the power of Zoho CRM SharePoint integration. So we know that a lot of people like to use SharePoint for document management, and instead of just ignoring that that's a fact, now there's an integration via the marketplace. So this is for Zoho CRM. And the idea here is the marketplace allows third parties to enhance the functionality of Zoho. So this isn't built into, let's say, you go into a record and you go to attach a document in Zoho CRM, it's not going to be available there unless you have the marketplace extension installed. So be aware of that. Update regarding Zoho Finance application domains for API users. Okay, so previously they all had the same API name. For Zoho Finance, now they're being separated out by application. So they're not going to share the old domain. They're going to have new domains. I reversed that. The old domains are unique to the application, and now they're under the same. So you can see here, old domain, expense, new domain, Zoho APIs. So they're consolidating that to make things easier on that front, which is really helpful. I mean, really the finance hub of applications is built on the same storage engine, so it makes sense that they're going to consolidate the domains as well. I think this is great on the API front, especially if you are a developer, a Zoho developer. All right, Hebrew right to left support is now live on Sales IQ. Okay, this is just interesting. I don't know Hebrew, and I don't know who would be watching this that speaks Hebrew, but that's pretty cool that they've just flipped the application completely. Doesn't this mess with your brain looking at this, not being able to speak Hebrew? I mean, just seeing it from right to left, it like completely breaks my brain, but that's so cool that they have that support now on Sales IQ. All right, function number 40, notify users when invoices exceed the credit limit. Okay, so this is a custom function share as well. So there's a code share. And as always, you can read through the use case here and then click on this GitHub link to go view the snippet of code. If we click here, it just takes us to GitHub, and then we can see the use case and then some of the notes that are added by a developer from Zoho to help us implement. Enhanced email security. email authentication workshop, Google and Yahoo, email policy changes. All right, so since I've been doing these news recaps, really this has been a common theme in that Google and Yahoo are changing their email policy. Essentially, you need to switch off Google and Yahoo for sending out emails, and you need to use your own custom domain. That's going to keep you from being dinged and not being able to send out your email. So make sure that you do that. And if you want to join this workshop, then you can certainly do that so that you can learn about the policy changes and how it might affect Zoho marketing automation and really Zoho at large. All right, webinar, Banking Module Mastery. If you want to join this webinar, it's about effortless bank reconciliation with Zoho Books. Zoho Books can be an absolute beast to master, so this is great that Zoho is supporting us here. So you've got these English sessions. You can join February 7th, February 8th. Okay, well, we have one going on now. So this was 6 days ago, so these are going on, but I'm sure they have recordings. So if you want to request a recording, you can certainly do that. Zoho's 2024 Customer Experience Workshop is here. First off, the USA and Canada. Awesome. All right, so if you want to join these different customer experience workshops, here's where they are going to land. You got one in Los Angeles, Chicago, New York City, Miami, Toronto, Montreal. Okay, so if you're in the US or Canada, February 15th, 16th, 19th, 20th, in these different cities, you can see the different dates. If you want to view the details, you can click here. I'm sure it takes you over to Zoho Backstage. Let's check it out. Cool, takes you to Backstage. You can view the event and then you can book from here. I'll give this a second to load so you can see. Yep, these are the different CX workshops that are going to be here. So if you want to view that, you can, and then you can book there. With that, thank you so much for watching this video and going over the news with me, everything that's newsworthy as far as announcements are concerned over the last week in Zoho. And with that, I have a training program called Z Training. So if any of you are interested in getting your team trained up for free in just 5 days, go ahead and click on the link below. I'll leave a link to it. Again, that's free and just helps your team to become power users inside of the Zoho platform. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.